time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
It's Friday. You're back with another episode of The Oil Stream. Thank you very much for watching today or downloading and listening to it on the weekend. It's Nielsen and Gazzola. It's presented to you, as always, by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen with a brand new location out in St. Albert. So now everybody in St. Albert doesn't have to travel all the way down to Edmonton to get their delicious Popeye's chicken. Tommy, what's up, buddy?
Hello, Dusty. Not much going on, man. Another beautiful day. Spring is here. Playoff hockey's in the air. It's absolutely fantastic. So I'm just glad to be here.
How was the postgame last night?
Very content. Very, very subdued and enjoyable. It was nice. It was quite pleasant, to be honest with you.
Do you feel like there are, like when the Oilers lose, more people are mean to you and Hernan, or is it more about the team? Because when the Oilers, like, for the more, somebody texted in today, near the end of my show, and was just like, Dusty, your podcast is the worst in the market. And I replied, and I was just like, which one? And he replied again, he's like, all of them. I was just like, all right, dude. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Thanks for checking it out. Yeah. Give me a subscription. That would be great. So, but like, things are good. And people were still a little ornery today. Even last night on Twitter, when I was like, 3 quick thoughts. Mike Smith played well. Can he build on it? They're like, Mike Smith didn't play well at all. He wasn't tested. Should have had the one. I was just like, look, with how he's played lately, Tommy, I thought he played pretty well last night.
Yes, I mean, we still get those people that are not satisfied, will nitpick everything, and that's their nature or whatever.
We do it sometimes, too, with things. I mean, that's just how it works.
Yeah, of course. And on top of that, like, the whole people being mean towards us personally when they lose, more so than when they win, that happens. Like, there's some people that just hate us. Like, there's some dudes that can't stand me. And like I watch myself, I see myself. I can't stand me either, to be honest with you. So, but yes, the short answer to that is yes. But Mike Smith did play well. He was satisfactory. I didn't think he was particularly rock solid to the point where you're like, damn, this guy's back. But
but he didn't allow 2 goals in the first period, right? So
no, exactly.
Yeah.
And there were some moments where like he would make a save and he seemed unsure. And I'd look at Daniel Nugent-Bowman and we'd be like, ugh.
Yeah, are we confident in his next start? I'm not necessarily confident in his next start, but he got the win. They got a game in. You had to hope you got that. Maybe that's the game where limited scoring chances that he needs to kind of get going a little bit. So
exactly.
I mean, he got the win last night. So
he let in 1 goal.
Yeah.
Got the win.
So it's better than it has been.
Yeah. Didn't let in a goal on the first shot, second shot, third shot, fourth shot, fifth shot. I think he strung together like 10 or 11 saves before he let one in, which is a minor miracle for all 3 of the goalies that have suited up for the Oilers this season.
You know, it's crazy. Just going back to the people that like to text into the station and chirp us. I don't know if they realize that we can see every text that they've ever sent in anytime they text. And the guy today, Eric, was going back and forth with them and went through the text. And this guy takes runs at Hernan's all the time. He's all over Joaquin Gage. Of all people that you're going to take a run at, Gager's the guy? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, buddy. So,
Dusty, I mean, and I like the ones that like text in with a different name each time.
Think they're going to trick us.
And you're like, okay, I see you've changed your name like 4 times, you idiot. And then the best, there's one guy, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to promote him, but there's one guy that like will always nitpick. It doesn't matter who's hosting or what show it is, like little phrases that he believes aren't proper English. And he'll like, be like, when you say, quote, this, what do you actually mean? Because when you say it like that, what you're insinuating is this. And it got to the point where I was just like, you know what, dude? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for texting in. You are so right. I missed you. It's been like 10 shows since I heard from you. You are a brilliant mind. Thank you. Oh, what would we do without you? Like, there's some meatheads that, and the best ones are the ones on our show that text in thinking they're texting into Ched. Like they're funny. I'm like, I'm not reading this, like, you idiot.
I will say this. 99% of the people that text in are awesome. It's just like a few bad
They are
apples,
really
a few rotten eggs in there that are just absolute messes. For the most part, people are hilarious. And sometimes even the chirps at us are hilarious. All right, top 6 last night, obviously early. Yamamoto, McDavid, Kane, 5 points combined on the first 2 goals. Draisaitl and Hyman and Puljujarvi last night I thought had a lot of really good things going on as well, Tommy. I think like last night specifically, and I know it's just one game, and I know they played very well as a group, but I thought last night's top 6 might have been the best top 6 that I've seen so far this year. When I look at it and I go, man, with the way that McDavid's going and Yamamoto's riding with him and Kane's fitting in and kind of looking after Yamamoto, and I think there's a ton of potential there for the puck control of a Draisaitl, Hyman, and Jesse Puljujarvi line, man. I like the way that top 6 shapes up.
This is an Oilers team that has depth at forward, as much as some people do not want to agree with that, but you saw it last night on display. It had a very solid, thorough game. I'm liking what Zach Hyman has been doing lately. Just hustling, hard on pucks, creating, and I think that has opened up some opportunities for his line mates in the last few games. Obviously, he was snake bait last night, but he still had a couple of assists. And to me, he's an engine for that line. Whatever line he's on, he's just
100%
pumping,
agreed,
man. And I am just thoroughly impressed with him. That's the kind of hockey you're going to need in the postseason. Hard to play against, never give up. And to me, Zach Hyman has been excellent. But you're right. You had Draisaitl scoring that goal where he didn't give up. He got the first opportunity, got stopped, bangs home the second one. Yamamoto's been scoring, which is great. He's got 15 goals, 27 points now. Nice to see him tick up his offense. And then Kane's been productive. I thought McDavid in the first period and a half was on a whole different level. And so
he's been doing that quite a bit lately.
Yeah. It was a very thorough performance from the top 6. And you know what? The bottom 6 was also equally as good, I thought, in their roles.
Did you see this trade that went down today, the Brandon Hagel deal?
Yeah, I did. Hagel's a good player. I mean, that's a pick.
Multiple first-round picks, though?
Yeah.
That's quite a bit. I mean, I agree. He's a good player. I think he'll fit in there very well. It's like and maybe I'm wrong on this, but it's kind of like a cheaper Coleman replacement. Like they might be looking at their lineup and being like, who are types of guys we're missing from the last 2 championship runs? But for Tampa, after already winning 2 cups, to go out and, by all accounts, drop 2 firsts on Hagel, that says something about their willingness to try to go for a three-peat here when you can't cheat the system and just leave Kucherov out for the entire year.
Good point. I mean, how's that working out for Vegas? Which we'll get to. And with the Hagel pickup, so this is a young guy that could be around when this window closes for Tampa. Obviously, they want to strike right now again, which is, makes perfect sense. And, if he could be Coleman or, let him be Brandon Hagel. But if it's something that fills a role or kind of meets that need that Coleman brought to the table, Yanni Gourde was really good with them as well. Then great Barclay Goodrow, I think of as well, too. This is a good pickup, very aggressive. The cost was steep. And I'm blown away already at the trades that are coming in at the price point.
Yeah, heavy prices, buddy. Very
much so. The return for Ben Sherratt, where I'm like, this is a rental, basically, and this is at best second pairing guy on a really good team. If he's having a good day, it's incredible, the price point. But good pickup for Tampa. I think that's a building block for the future for them. Hagel will probably be around, and good. Edmonton boy, I saw him, after an Elks game. Ran into Cam Moon and a bunch of guys after the Elks game on the patio at the Pint one night. Hagel was running around being a little brat. He's a good dude. He's a really good dude. I met him. I was like, this guy's funny, man. So good for Tampa, but man, price point steep.
Good for him too. I mean, go play Tampa. You're laughing. Absolutely laughing. All right, so let's kind of tie that into the Oilers' deadline day plans. Like if they're looking to add a defenseman, the tier of defensemen that maybe they wanted to get might not be there from a price perspective for them, Tommy. So what do you think? I don't know if we need names here or anything. If there is, I mean, lay it out for you. But what do you think the Oilers are hoping to accomplish between now and the deadline on Monday? And just so everybody knows, Monday after the deadline, sometime later in that afternoon, we'll have a special episode of the Oil Stream recapping everything. But where do you come out on what they need to accomplish and what they hope to accomplish over the next 3 days?
Well, what they need is goaltending. I mean, I'll state the obvious.
Was it Friedman that said they're out on the goaltending? Like they're done with the goaltending?
Friedman said it. Chris Johnston said it. I think Darren Dreger said it. So they're probably not in the market for those guys. No, those guys are talking to these execs all the time, like daily. But I mean, they wouldn't be doing their due diligence if they didn't at least sniff around on goalies on deadline day or leading up to deadline day. And I feel like they will. Whether or not anything materializes, probably a minimal percentage of that actually happening. So, maybe we see a depth defenseman, something better than a Kulikov like we saw last year. I like the idea of Justin Braun. I know that they were looking at him last summer, and that was a possibility last summer. It didn't materialize, obviously. I like the idea of a Carson Soucy, but what is the price there? Seattle, I mean, I think for Seattle, the priorities are getting rid of Mark Giordano and getting a big haul for him. And then maybe Soucy's on the back burner if they even want to get rid of him. But I think for Edmonton, that's a good fit. I know he's a left shot guy, but he's a big
27 years old, 2.75, exactly. Has a year left.
Local-ish kid from Irma, Viking area. So I like the idea of that, but I think we'll see the Oilers be subtle on deadline day, maybe get a depth forward, maybe get that depth defenseman just to add to that. They should and probably will sniff around on goalies, but that market stinks for goalies.
As for the draft pick situation, no fourth this year, and then the third round, the second round are tied together on conditions. But next year they've got all their picks. 2024, they've got all their picks. I can't believe we're talking about 2024 picks. That's how old we are. It's nuts. And of course, they've got all of their first. So they do have some draft pick ammo, especially in next season's draft. If they do decide, I mean, does a second in 2023 get you a guy like Soucy with a contract going back the other way or something along those lines? I'm not 100% sure, but it's kind of interesting. And I think they get something. I think they bring in someone. I just don't know if it'll be. I don't know if it'll be a D-man that you automatically slot into your top six, because I think that price might be a little too high. Or is it like you mentioned, a Kulikov type? No, he did slide in and play here. But I'm thinking, is there like a number 7 guy that they're bringing in that goes in and out of the lineup with a Chris Russell or something like that? So when you get to the playoffs, that person doesn't have to be Broberg, Niemelainen, or Lagesson. Like at worst, there's probably at least something like that, isn't there?
I would think so.
Yeah.
What exactly that is, we shall see. But I mean, this is one of the interesting deadlines for the Oilers where you're like, it might be really quiet. It might legitimately be quiet. And again, the Kubalik stuff, like, just stop. It's not happening. Whoever's
Kubalik,
someone on the postgame show right at the end texted in Kubalik, Tom, and I was just like, I'm not even answering that. We've talked about it on this show. We talked about it on pre and post game. It's like, no, people from the team are just like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, unless they're keeping it way under wraps, I don't see it happening. Yeah, that's not happening. By the way, Sean, who his daughter's actually in Marshall's class, they're really good buddies. He said the return here is Hagel for 2 firsts, 2 fourths, and a prospect for Hagel. So Tampa obviously really likes Hagel, and that kind of sets the market for any sort of like any forward with term moving forward and control. Looks like it's going to be pricey there. All right, Jay Woodcroft. This was asked. I'm not going to take credit for this question. It was asked by somebody in the old inbox today over on the Nielsen show. And that is, has Jay Woodcroft done enough already to be viewed as the head coach of this team moving forward next season? Tommy, where are you at on that right now? This is kind of a good time. Like pre-deadline, discuss it. End of regular season, discuss it. Obviously, end of playoffs, discuss it. Where are you at right now on Woodcroft's future?
I think he's paving the way to a contract for himself as the head coach of this team. What is he, 11-5-1 now? And he's helped steady everything and get some balance, and it helps that the team's getting healthy. But you can see there's been an effect, and it's lasted. I know we saw the bump when he started the 5-0 run, but now it seems like some of the things he's implementing are taking, and these guys are learning the whole back pressure thing, checking through the neutral zone, all of that. So, I think he's on his way to getting that contract to remain head coach of this team. He's a young up-and-comer, studious. He's been in almost every role as a coach in the National Hockey League. So, yeah, I think he's on his way. If this team makes the playoffs, I think it cements it.
Yeah, I think 100% for sure. I mean, even if I'll say even if they don't make the playoffs, I think there'd be a case for keeping them around. I do think they are going to make the playoffs, so I think that'll be more than enough to lock them in. I said this morning, unless they make the playoffs and the first round is just like a disaster and he looks like he's in over his head and he can't handle his bench and all that garbage, then maybe that's not the case. But I mean, I think people right now would be willing to sign him to an extension based on the use of his timeouts alone compared to what we saw with Dave Tippett. So at this point, I'm like 99% sure Jay Woodcroft's going to be the head coach of this team for the next few years. And in my opinion, I think he deserves to be. So good for him and what he's been able to accomplish so far on a roster that still has its blemishes, that still needs work. And he's able to do a pretty good job with it. I mean, this was a team that couldn't buy a win for like a month and a half, and he's got them back on track. So that's very important. Let's get to your Ken Morrison Remax question of the day, brought to you by our friend at Ken Morrison Remax, KenRMorrison.com, I should say. You can give him a call, 780-993-4815. He is a Remax Hall of Famer. Why would you put your real estate decisions in the hands of anyone that's not a Hall of Famer? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Tommy, what's the question today, buddy? What do you got?
I love it. For Ken R. Morrison, Remax Excellence. The question of the day is this, Dusty Nielsen. It is Oilers related, but it's not specifically about the Oilers.
Okay.
We're watching Vegas in just an absolutely tumultuous time right now. And we thought Edmonton would be competing with them for first, maybe second in the Pacific. That's not the case. I think their percentage to make the playoffs dropped to like 39 or something like that this week. So what happens to the Vegas Golden Knights? Were they too aggressive? Are they going to miss the postseason? What do you make of their situation as they Kucherov, Mark Stone, and Alec Martinez and Pacioretty's hurt? Now we know that Robin Leonard's on the shelf maybe for the rest of the season. Just what's your take on that situation as the Oilers, Kings, and maybe another team benefits from Vegas's awful season?
I mean, I don't feel bad for them. They've had so much success coming in as an expansion team. You're like, you get a dose of reality here at some point. But what you kind of just listed off is it's not an excuse, but it's a reason thing. But they were missing like 9 guys out of their lineup. Yeah, so like this is a team that has been absolutely hammered by injuries. I mean, if Vegas had been healthy from start to finish, I still don't know if you would have had to have traded for Eichel. If you just would have gone with, and if Stone would have been healthy, and Pacioretty would have been healthy, and they have that group healthy, and the blue line would have been healthy, and Leonard wouldn't have to deal with injuries, I think they'd be right there, probably right, maybe just behind where the Calgary Flames are at right now. But this is a year where they're still hanging around, barely. They're barely hanging around. Nice win last night against Florida, honestly, but they're barely hanging around right now. And I think they kind of just came into the season thinking they were going to cruise through the division. And I can kind of understand why they would have, because I thought they were going to. Yeah. But that's not my job to look at it and go, okay, well, do we have the depth of injuries hit or something along those lines? So if Vegas misses the playoffs this year, I'll straight up write it off due to injuries. That's just it. But then you look at this group moving forward, and you've got Jack Eichel now, and Eichel hasn't really moved that needle for them at all so far, but he's a guy who too is getting back up to speed coming off a long-term significant injury. So injuries have killed them. I think they backed themselves into a corner with the way they constructed their lineup with the salary cap, which certainly hasn't helped, and it's leading to a disastrous season. If they miss the playoffs this year, am I going to pick them to bounce back and make it next year when they're healthy? Yeah, I will, but it's just been one of those years, man.
I think they've done this to themselves too. Add to the fact those injuries, awful, obviously, but every team's dealt with injuries this season. It's just Vegas.
The Oilers have dealt with a ton of injuries.
Exactly. I really, and I'll stand by this, I believed it when it happened. I thought when they got Leonard, that was a mistake. I thought when they gave him the contract extension, that was a mistake. I thought when they traded Fleury, that was a mistake. Like, I don't know. I think they've been too aggressive to the point where it's just tripped them up. And here we are watching them on the cusp of not making the postseason. Granted, they have a lot of hockey left to play, but my goodness, this should not be the case for a team that's built like that. And a lot of it, I feel, is their own doing. But it's going to be fun to watch, that's for sure.
You make a good point. Like, for the last 3 years, when a big name came up, Vegas went and got him. Like
And
Stone's
it's like,
available,
why?
Vegas got him. Pacioretty
He's
available,
great.
Vegas got him. Eichel
great.
available, Vegas got him. And now Pietrangelo available, Vegas got him. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they've. Even Robin Lehner, you had Marc-Andre Fleury, and Robin Lehner's available. You go and get him. Like you eventually you're going to put yourself in a really tough spot by bringing in all these guys on pretty significant deals. So they've kind of made their bed. They got to lay in it this year, and we'll see what they look like next year because they're probably going to have to make some changes. That's your Ken Morrison Remax question of the day here on the Oil Stream. Tommy, Oilers get the New Jersey Devils tomorrow. I know, like yesterday on Two Guys, thanks for popping in on that. I was saying people were hesitant about that game against Buffalo. Hernan and Lowtide were like, oh boy, I don't know. I thought they were going to get it done. I kind of got lucky saying Mike Smith was going to be a star. I think they just gave him a star because he got a win. I don't know if he deserved a star last night in a game like that. But
How dare you?
what do you think? They've run a clean sweep on this thing. I've said it 3 times already. I think they sweep the homestand. Do you think they get it done against New Jersey tomorrow?
I do. I was leery about last night as well, but they quashed all those concerns, which was great. I think they'll continue. They'll sweep this homestand, which is fantastic. Dusty, this Devils team has some good players as skaters, but the goaltending is a huge issue for the Devils. They've got 2 guys that are basically in over their head right now. So the Oilers can take advantage, kind of put the same game plan forward like they did last night against Buffalo. We're talking about a 5-0 homestand, which is fantastic, setting up for a really tough back-to-back Monday, Tuesday in Colorado and in Dallas.
Pre-game show tomorrow at 1 o'clock, 12:30? What do you got?
11:30 puck drop is at 1. So
is it a 1 o'clock? Oh, for some reason I thought it was a 2 o'clock start. Well, that's good. I got something to do late in the afternoon so I can actually watch most of the game.
Yeah. So we're on the air 11:30. Usual cast of characters. And then the Latino Heat slides in for Connor Halley on the post-game show. He was very happy yesterday. So we'll see if that continues.
Good for him. Good for him being happy. That's nice.
Tired.
Was he tired?
Yeah, he's like, okay. He's like, we've got Woodcroft and we've got Barry with Hyman.
Falling asleep.
And then he's like, all right, how long are we going? And I was like, I don't know, man. We got like another 15, 20 minutes. We got to get Cass back in here too. And we usually do the Ming Shining Star of the game.
Yes.
Zach Hyman yesterday, right out of coach's audio. And I'm sitting there, it's just dead air. I'm waiting for him to hit the stinger. And I was like, well, time now for Ming Shining Star of the game. You want to hit the button, Hernan? He's like, sorry. So he was quiet yesterday.
What a mess. What a mess. Oh, he's still a beauty, though. We love him. We love him. So the boys will be on pregame, postgame tomorrow. Oilers and the New Jersey Devils. And then, of course, Monday you'll be able to hear. I'll be on the air at 6 o'clock. Tommy's going to pop into the studio at 10 o'clock. We're both going to ride shotgun alongside Low Tide with Matthew Wannick as a host for our deadline coverage up until noon for me. Then I'm out. Then Gregor's going to slide in. Tommy, you're going to be there till 2, correct?
I'll be there till 2. Okay. And then, Gregor and Struddy will basically take over coverage. It's going to be a busy day in the NHL. Maybe not so much for the Oilers, but you and I will do the Oil Stream to wrap it up. I'm thinking
sometime late Monday afternoon, we'll get an Oil Stream episode out there for you. So thanks for watching. Yeah.
Really quickly, people are asking about Brad Malone, why they sent him down.
Yes.
They save a little bit of cap space there, and it also prepares them roster-wise. It gives them the room to potentially make a move on Monday. So that's what's going on there.
So there's no scrambling around or anything. What you've done here is if you're going to have to send them down Sunday, just in case you want to move Monday, you save a few bucks by sending them down when they did on Thursday. So that makes sense. There you go. Tommy Gazzola with the insight. Tommy, that's great, buddy. Have a great weekend, man. I'm sure I'll text you throughout the weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday, buddy.
I look forward to it. Go Max Verstappen, by the way. I like your shirt today.
I'm going to bet on him. I'm going to have money on him and Charles Leclerc this weekend. So, Charles Leclerc. I hope he's a real contender this year. All right, for Gazzola, I'm Nielsen. Huge shout out, of course, to Ken Morrison and his team over with Remax. And our presenting sponsors now open. Get that delicious chicken sandwich out in St. Albert as Popeyes continues to use the oil stream to take over the world, which is just amazing. I love it. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll be back on Monday with a special deadline day recap of the oil stream. We will talk to you then.